Hey, yo, 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 what up, what up, what up? What's good, what's good, what's good? What's good? Shout out to the overnight crew. Shout out to the graveyard shift. Man, shout out to them boys driving trucks, man. Big props to the truck drivers. I be seeing y'all out there, man. Y'all got to grind and go get it. You know me, I'll never forget about you. Shout out to all the new listeners. Shout out to the trolls. We love the trolls. Don't hate on my trolls. They give me a view. It's me, it's your man, it's your boy, Alpha the First One. The YouTube channel is called E-Waste Dating Tips by A11 or E-Waste Dating Tips by Alpha or E-Waste Dating Tips. I'm on multiple platforms. Y'all know what it is. You know what they do. And so if y'all didn't know, if you're new to my channel, I wrote a book about dating and mating as a system. Two competing systems in the world, just like capitalism versus communism slash socialism, right? Whereas in dating and mating, there is unregulated dating and mating versus regulated dating and mating. That's all it is. Simple concept. No regulation versus regulation. Simple complex. Simple but complex. That's why I'm starting to call it simple complex, which is oxymoronic. I live in Southern California. If y'all hear this, I'm about to cut on my heater because it's still a little cold up here. It's getting into springtime. And so I'm coming to y'all late at night. The best way to listen to me, y'all, is to put me on some headphones and knock it out. Go for a walk. Work on your yard. Change your transmission. And if your job will let you, put me on some headphones and knock it out at the job. I do about try to keep it like 45 to an hour long. I can't make my message shorter, y'all. I just can't do it. I had some guy ask me, man, can you cut it down? I said, no, I can't. I can't cut it down because I know y'all need to hear what I have to say. And there's an old rap song called Dumb It Down. I can't dumb it down. I can't shorten it. I can't dumb it down. So whatever needs to be said is going to be said. So let me go ahead and get into it. Tonight, we're going to talk about a very, very deep subject. And y'all need to hear this subject. I've already talked about it, but I'm going to do another broadcast on it because I had a recent conversation with someone on it. And so tonight's topic is called the two pills. Pills. The two pills. If you're an old listener, you've already heard this on my old channel. As y'all know, I had a channel terminated. They're not going to let me on the day shift. Why? Because I keep it raw, rough, and real. I'm going to keep it raw. I'm going to keep it rough. I'm going to keep it real. But on that old channel, I was too raw. I was too rough. I was too real. I was getting into all kinds of shit. And I didn't understand how the algorithm worked. And they terminated my channel. I never threatened anybody. And I try to keep things PG-13 if you can't tell. I curse a little bit, but not that much. But the topics that I talk about are very controversial. And you know why? Because the topics that I talk about are the solutions. Go check out my channel right now. I got a video up called The Solution is the Problem. See, right now, a lot of people are making money on the problem. See, what is the problem? The dating and mating problem in America. Really, the entire West. That's the number one problem in the West. People say, oh, the number one problem in the West is money. Oh, it's economics. Oh, it's military. Oh, it's immigration. No, 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 no. Those are all symptoms. Like you get a cold. When you get a cold, a runny nose is a symptom of the cold. When you get the chills is a symptom of the cold. Congestion, that's a symptom of the cold. You understand? And if you hear that, that's my dogs. They're doing crazy shit. It's a full moon, you know. I have Siberian Huskies, and they're, basically becoming werewolves. I have to let them in and out because they come in, they go out, they go outside, fight, they come in, they chill out. You know how it is. So if y'all don't hear from me, that means I was on the menu. I'm waiting for the change because when the full moon comes, sometime I change. But my channel is controversial. And this is a controversial topic. And it's the two pills. Now, right off the top, people thinking, well, oh, here's another red pill, black pill, green pill, purple pill. No, 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 no. I'm not talking about those pills. I'm talking about two real legitimate pills that have essentially changed the dating and mating situation in the West, quote unquote, America. And remember, in America, we have what? An unregulated dating system. Keep that in mind. There's no rules. There's no regulation. Anything goes. Outside of the West, countries that are not Western dominated, they have regulated dating and mating. Good examples is India, the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and some parts of Latin America. They don't have free autonomy in dating and mating. They don't give them 100%. The regulation starts at the beginning, not the end. So in the West, there's been two pills that have changed dating and mating. One of them have been detrimental to the power dynamics on women. And the other one has been positive, beneficial to the power dynamics for men. Let me get the easy one out the way first. The first pill is the birth control pill. A lot of people say the sexual revolution was started and took off because of the creation of the birth control pill. I disagree with that. Now, we all know, really, if you really look at history, I can make the case that the sexual revolution technically started in the 1880s, around that time. And that the drip, meaning if you look at a leaky faucet, you know how a faucet, when it starts leaking, you'll see one drop. As time go on and that seal becomes bad and bad, that faucet starts doing what? One drop goes to 5 drops. And then if you never change that seal, those 5 drops become 100 drops. Before you know it, boom, the water comes all the way out. So I can make the case that the sexual revolution technically started in around the 1860s or 70s. The first drip started around that time, the first drop of water. In the roaring 20s is where it became 5 drops. And then as time went on, when it got to about the 60s, that's when the water burst. But a lot of people like to say, well, they like to say the pill is what caused the sexual revolution. The pill is what made all that happen. That's not true. The 3 primary things, in my opinion, that caused the sexual revolution to happen was, number 1, there was too many wars. There was too many wars, which means too many men died, and that took too many men out of the neighborhoods. Number 2, the men that made it back from the war, they were all messed up. We didn't know about PTSD and all those things. The VA was awful back then. It's getting better now. They can definitely do more work. But they didn't have the measures in place to take care of the men when they came back. And so number three, the third thing, those two things, which is too many wars, which took the men out. The men who came back was all messed up. It caused the third thing, the backbone of the community was broken. The men that was left around were too weak. The backbone became weak as a collective. And so the rules and regulation came off. Boom. That's what burst it open. That was it. Too many men died. The one who came back was messed up. And so when the pressure came from the women to test the backbone, there wasn't enough to fight it. Boom, it broke open. Because all the men, if the men were strong at that time, all they had to do was look that woman in the eyes and say what? Guess what? Men and women are not equal. Deal with it. You can't have sex like a man because men and women are not equal. You didn't have enough men around to say that. And the men who were around were too weak to even say it. They couldn't say it. So you didn't have enough to say it. And the ones that were around, they were too weak to enforce it. And so, boom, that's what caused the sexual revolution. The women took that and ran with it. No one challenged them. Now that's being challenged. They don't say that to us. I'm Generation Y. I'm a millennial. They don't say that to me. I have said that statement on multiple platforms, and I have not been challenged yet by any women. Guess who challenged me? Other men. I'm going to say that again. When I made that statement, men and women are not equal, and that's that, I ain't have no woman on any other platform challenge me. Shout out to the women. I had more pushback from men than I did women. That was my red pill wake up call. Go look at my video. I did a video on that. Shout out to a brother called The Real Stacy Prince. Shout out to The Real Stacy Prince. As y'all know, I try to give people props. I don't try to tear people down. If I disagree with people, I won't say their name, but if I agree with them, I will give them props. Shout out to The Real Stacy Prince. Go check out that brother channel. He's doing good work over there. I just recently heard him say he got his wake up call to men. He was doing a broadcast where he said, look, y'all, I got to clear something up. And I'm paraphrasing. But, The Real Stacy Prince, he said, shit, I didn't realize how many of these men hated women. Or, quote unquote, they want him to go at women. And Stacy was like, look, I got to clear that up over here. I don't hate women. We love women on my channel. We hold them accountable, but we still love them. We're not trying to go at them to get back at them. And he was honest. He said, I've had great relationships with women. I'm having great relationship with women right now. I've never had all of the problems y'all had. He's being honest. He's not trying to trauma bond with men. Check out my video. I said I'm not trying to trauma bond with y'all. I am not coming to y'all saying I have not had success with women. I have. Just like Stacy said he has, I have too. But I still hold women accountable, and I hold men accountable too. I call it how I see it. We call that balls and strikes. In baseball, umpires do what? They just call it how they see it. And I love baseball umpires. Baseball umpires are some of the best referees in the world. Them fuckers will knock your ass out if you argue with them on balls and strikes. Shout out to the MLB. I love the MLB. Shout out to them boys. I call it how I see it. Yes, sometimes somebody gonna throw some really good stuff, as we say in baseball. If the guy throwing a good ball and it looks like a strike, so be it. Shout out to him for throwing it. But you can't get mad when you swing at the ball and miss it completely. See what I'm saying? So a lot of y'all been swinging at these women and you're missing, and you want me to yell at them. No, I don't do that. And that's when I got my red pill moment, like the real Stacey Prince did. I had the same problem. I told men and women on panels with men and women that men and women are not equal. I had no women challenge me. I had tons of men challenging me. Tons of men challenging me. And it was on this issue right here I'm talking about tonight. The pill, the birth control pill. I had a man tell me, and shout out to this guy, go check out his channel. There's a channel called Finding Gnosis. Finding Gnosis. Gnosis. I think that's how you spell it. Finding Gnosis. It's basically a Gen X / millennial debate channel where they debate a lot of metaphysics and politics and things like that. But we had a conversation on his channel, and he was talking about relationships, power dynamics, and I came up and said the birth control pill has changed nothing between men and women. And that's a true statement. And I'll talk about that tonight. But he said, one guy challenged me. One guy got up there, he just started saying, this is crazy. Birth control made women superior to men. And birth control gave women the right to control their bodies. And it made them more powerful in a relationship. And I simply told him, sir, that's false. I said, sir, you have women right now. It is women saying that birth control has messed up the power dynamics between men and women. You have women saying birth control has destroyed women's dating and mating lives. And that is true in my opinion. So shout out to the real Stacey Prince for getting red pill about men. And shout out to Finding Gnosis, who got red pill about the truth of the birth control pill. And that's what I'm talking about tonight. That's the first pill up, the birth control pill. So it was not the birth control pill that caused the sexual revolution in my view. It was a symptom. It was a symptom of the problem. The problem was the men were weak. They didn't have enough men. The men that came back were just messed up. And when the backbone test came, they were too weak to fight it. So the birth control is just a symptom of that. It just pretty much was a catalyst, but it wasn't the main thing. It helped it go faster, I'll give it that, but it wasn't the main thing. Now, what did the birth control pill do? Well, essentially, the birth control gave women what? An artificial virtual reality of time. In shorter words, it made women think they had more time than what they already don't have. The two pills. And so the first pill, birth control pill, gave women a sense of having more time, which they really don't have. If you know anything about time, what is time? Time is what? A constant. No man can stop time if time exists. Remember, time is a metaphysical theory, an idea that we use in order to do what? Understand our world. That's all it is. Because technically speaking, we don't know what time is if time exists. We base time based on what? Our revolve around the sun. We revolve 365 days around the sun as a spinning planet. We're spinning so many miles. I don't know how many miles per hour we're spinning. I forgot. Our gravitational pull is keeping us on this planet, and we are gravitationally being pulled by the sun. That's the heliocentral, shout out to Galileo plan. It's not flat earth nonsense, okay? We are on a round planet. We're spinning on this planet. And we're spinning around the sun. The sun is the center of the universe, not the planet Earth. Look that up. And y'all know the church haven't forgiven Galileo, right? Go look that up. And if y'all didn't know, the church has not... they told him apology, but they have not resolved his conviction. There are people right now saying Galileo needs to be, what is it, pardoned or something where they take off his conviction. Because in Catholic belief, if you've been condemned by the church, there are some people believe that Galileo is still in hell. I don't know all the Catholic beliefs, but the Catholic Church has not taken him. They have not removed his conviction. He is still a felony according to the Catholic Church, and he was right. Now they've said sorry. Sorry doesn't remove the conviction. You get it? And which one do you want? Do you want an expungement, a pardon, right? Or do you want a sorry? No, I want the others. I want the latter. Sorry is just words. The other takes you legally out of it. You get it? The two pills. The two pills. So you can't stop time. That's impossible. And they gave these women this pill, which is basically an inhibitor or a blocker. That's all it is. It's inhibiting or blocking something that's supposed to naturally happen, which is what is supposed to naturally happen. Those eggs that she's born with, when she matures, those eggs that's in her body are supposed to come out every 26 to 30 days. That's basically it. We take the difference, 28 days. Every 28 days, she's supposed to what? Release that egg. It's got to be fertilized. If it doesn't, it withers, it dies, it sheds the lining. That's the menstruation cycle. That's a crash course in biology. Please don't hold me exact to it, but y'all understand what's going on. I'm keeping it PG-13. That is supposed to happen every 28 days. It's supposed to happen. If it doesn't happen, guess what that means? That's an irregular menstrual cycle. That's not normal. Does everybody get that? That is not normal. All right? The body is designed, evolved, or created, whatever you believe, to that woman has to let that egg out every 28 days. It's supposed to happen. When that doesn't happen, that is a problem. That's not normal. See, you see what I'm saying? Do you see where I'm going with this? See, they told women that if we stop this natural thing from happening, it's fine. No, it's not. That's not normal. So now women think that they're taking something that they're not supposed to be doing as if that's a normal thing for their body. It is not. Look up the complications with birth control. I don't even want to go down that path. It's scary, ugly stuff. Look up the psychological complications with birth control. We have on record women coming off birth control after they marry their husbands and they say what? I'm not attracted to my husband. The two pills. The two pills, the birth control pill, gave women an artificial virtual reality that they have more time that they do not have. Number two, it messed up their biochemical process. In so many words, their biochemistry process was fucked up. The body is biochemically designed to do what it's going to do. They got something called gluconeogenesis, glycolysis, pentophosphate pathway. I don't want to chemistry you guys out, okay? I don't want to yell all this stuff out. Look up biochemistry. I had a great, lovely time taking biochemistry. I passed it with a low B, okay? In med school, I did it. It's not fun stuff, but it is once you get to the pathways, it's not that bad. All right, the Krebs cycle, the citric acid cycle, whatever you want to call it. All right? Your body's going to do that every time. Every time. It's going to do it every time. When you stop that, that's a problem. Everybody get that? The body is supposed to do that chemical process every time. When that chemical process doesn't happen, that is a problem. That's not good. Shout out to my Siberian Huskies. One of the things I love about Siberian Huskies, and I've been studying them, I study them a lot. All right, they're not just my dogs and my companions. We actually try to have conversations with one another. Not working out too well, but I think I'm getting somewhere. They kind of talk to me and I talk to them. All right, but one of the things about Siberian Huskies, and it's believed that the original wolf or the original dog, the first dog came from Siberian Huskies. All right, but guess what Siberian Huskies can do? They can hibernate. Yes, they have two metabolisms. Yes, they can switch their metabolism whenever they're quote unquote burning. They can switch from burning their fat to burning their muscles. Look it up. It's a fascinating thing. There's a lot of science and research going behind that for athletes. And not just for athletes, but people as a whole. They also have a lot of medical mysteries in their saliva. They're fascinating creatures. Look at their eyes. Their eyes are blue eyes. That's a dominant trait. I can look at any dog walking around and I can tell that dog is a mutt, as they say, because I can look at the heterochromacy. That is a distinctive trait in Siberian Huskies. One blue eye, one brown eye. I can look at those dogs and say, wow, that dog is Mr. Husky, right? Yes, outstanding. So when I tell you biochemically, you're putting women on the pill, when you're stopping that process of them releasing that egg, that's not normal. That's not a good thing. That's why you're seeing all these complications when women come off the pill. Look up the after pill syndrome. Multiple complications are coming out of that. Some women come out of that and they're infertile. That's tragic. That's terrible. I don't celebrate that. The two pills. So the birth control pill is not a normal thing for women. That has been detrimental for women. But they sold it to women to say, well, see, you can now do what? Have sex like a man. That's an oxymoronic statement. It doesn't make any sense. You are a woman. I am a man. How can you have sex like me? That's impossible. I don't have a vagina. You don't have a penis. There's no way you can have sex like me. That's impossible. But they told them that anyway. Sex like a man, how though? How? Oh, they left out the key word. You can have the sexual behavior like a man. Boom. That's the artificial lie that they gave the women. The birth control pill will give you time. There's no effects on the body. And you'll have a sexual behavior just like a man. Which is what? You won't have to be concerned with getting pregnant like men don't have to be concerned with getting pregnant. You see how they did that? It is true. Men don't bear the reproduction costs. We don't get pregnant. You get it? No matter how many times they flip these words around, wink, wink. Men can't get pregnant, period. And they've had experiments where they've tried. That's awful. Look those up. where they have tried to put a female uterus inside a biological man, and it was awful, and the man who did it, he died, and he lived a miserable life after they tried that. The man was miserable until he died. Yes, they did try that. Look it up. Would I try that? Hell no. But there you go. All in the name of science, right? The two pills. The two pills, the birth control pill, gave women a false sense of time. It biochemically messed them up, and it told them you can do what? Have a sexual behavior just like a man. You don't have to worry about getting pregnant. See, you can go out and have all the sex you want, just like men. That's what they told them. Completely disconnected from reality. Totally incoherent of reality. Because men never had sex without responsibility. In those times, they did not. Now men can do it. Now men can do it. We're going to get into that, okay? But before the sex revolution, men never can go around and just have sex with quote-unquote non-sex worker women. Yeah, they could go have their fun with the neighborhood saloon girl, streetwalker, lady of the night, wink, wink. But a girl who wasn't none of that, hell no. I told y'all about that. Johnny touched Jill, Jack and Jill. If Jack touched Jill and Jill was a virgin, what would they used to do? You should know what they used to do by now. Shotgun weddings. Look it up. So this idea that men before the sexual revolution could have sex and get away with it with non-sex worker women, that's simply false. The two pills. And so they threw this birth control pill out there, and they gave them the virtual lie that you got more time. Their bodies paid the physical cost. We now know about that now. That's undeniable. And they never achieved the status of having sex like a man, because we know that's impossible. But what did they achieve? They stopped being virgin brides. That's what they achieved. That was the whole point of all that. The birth control pill accomplished one thing. It tore down the dating and mating system of what? Them being virgin brides. Boom. That was it. Because most likely, before the birth control pill, that woman had sex. Most likely, not in all cases, but in most cases, that woman was probably going to get knocked up. Which meant what? She was not a virgin bride. And back in those days, it was a shame to not be a virgin bride. Yes, it was. And we know about shotgun weddings, but sometimes Johnny got away. Johnny was gone. Sometimes, not a whole lot, but he got out of there. He got them cookies and he was gone. And so what do they used to do? They used to send her off to boarding school. Look that up. Oh, Sarah got to go to boarding school. She'll be back next year. Yeah, Sarah went off and had that baby and had to give it up for adoption. That's what she did. That was before baby deletion. The two pills. And see, that was another thing about this pill that they don't tell you the history. That pill was designed for who? Married women, married couples. Look that up. See, that's how they sold it. They said, well, if you give this pill to married women, they will be able to control how many children they're having, and they can plan the family a little better. Essentially, they'll give the woman a break. She won't be what? Barefoot and pregnant. That's where that term comes from. You got a barefoot and pregnant, meaning about every 10 months the woman's knocked up. She got another baby, she just had another one. If you give her the pill, it'll give her some time, Give her some time to kind of relax a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Give her, and they sold it to the married couples because see, then that would give the father and the mother time to, build up some resources, and they can bring the family in how they want to bring the family in. Because, they was fucking too. They was getting it in. The two pills. And see, they also said that if you give out this pill, you'll have what? Less children out of wedlock. Boom. And we got more children now. I think it's up to 40 or 48%, maybe 49. 49% of children, yours truly, born out of wedlock. I ain't ashamed to say it. What can I do? I'm the child. I used to be kind of mad about that. I wouldn't say mad, but I used to be kind of ashamed of it because I was like, well, I was born. I'm a bastard. I am a bastard child. And that used to be a shameful thing. And the birth control pill was sold that it would stop that situation. That didn't happen. We got more children born out of wedlock now than we did before the birth control pill. And then they said one last thing will happen if you give this pill out. Which is what? You'll have less baby deletions. Oh yeah, but at that time it wasn't legal. They had to fight to get that one. That was the last thing they got. Because the pill came before that last one, the baby deletion thing. And they said if you give out this pill, you're going to have less baby deletion. And we know how that went down. Look at those numbers. I won't even go into them. And a cherry on top, they said, well, if you give out this birth control pill, it's going to do what? You're going to have more marriages and less divorces. Women will be happier and they'll have more time to choose the men that they like. And those marriages will be better. There'll be less divorce. So you should give us the pill, right? The two pills. Do I even need to go over how none of that came true? I don't even need to say that, do I? Do I even need to bring up the well-known, well-famous stat that 70-something% of women file for divorce more than men? Boom! The two pills. So as you can see, the birth control pill has been a complete disaster for men, for children, for society, and especially women. They never got any more time. Those eggs were sitting in those women for 20 something years, as they are now. And when they hit age 30 and older, now they come off of it. Look at all the infertility we got now. You got women suing. I remember when I was in the Army, when I was in the military, there was something called the depot shot. I don't know if they still doing that shot, but they were doing that depot shot. And boy, I used to be around when I used to get attached to support units because I was in the infantry, and sometimes we would get attached to support units, and we was around this support unit that had women, you know. And boy, that depot shot, I knew this one girl. She took it, and I seen her over 6-7 month period. I mean, this woman literally was like in shape. She took that depot shot. She had to put on at least, I would say, no less than 55 to 65 pounds. She was working out like crazy, but she just could not lose the weight. That shot did something to her metabolism. And that woman, I mean, she was trying very hard, man. And she just had to come off of it. She came off the shot, she lost all the weight. But then after that, she got knocked up. Okay? That depot shot was giving girls bad weight gain. Some of them was, obviously causing infertility. Some of them were getting, I remember one girl, her hair was falling out. It was bad, man. It was bad. But that's part of the pill. And so we know all the promises that they said it would do for women didn't come true. All the promises it said it would do for society, that didn't come true. So the birth control pill was a complete waste of time, in my opinion. Nothing changed between men and women. Absolutely nothing. It made things worse. It was not a net positive. That's a historical, today, real world fact. Can't be denied. The two pills. So now let's look at the other pill. And this is the pill that changed the dating and mating dynamics. See, the birth control pill gave women an artificial dating and mating power dynamic. They thought they won, but they actually lost. We now know that now. We now know that as a dating and mating dynamic, the birth control pill put women at a loss. Because now they're over 30 coming off the pill, trying to rush and do what? Start a family. Unfortunately, many of those women ain't going to be to conceive. Number two, most of those women don't have enough dating and mating assets to get a man to want them. I.e., they don't look good enough and their body's not in good shape. It is what it is. And last but not least, their age. Sorry, no matter how good a 30-something-year-old woman look, 30 and older, she can be in superb, excellent shape. When a man here 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, his ears are going to shut up. They're going to go close on that woman. He's going to say, I don't want to start a family with an older woman. It is what it is. That's men's right. Men have every right to have standards in what they want to in dating and mating. They didn't factor that in. So the power dynamic did not change. Nothing changed. It actually put women at a disadvantage from a power standpoint. Because now she's older, trying to do what? Get men to take her as an older woman. When she was younger, she had more assets to get men to take her. See what I'm saying? So it didn't help them. The power dynamic did not change. Sure, she got her back blown out. I've never denied that. She could have did that off the pill. But that pill gave her an artificial sense of time and an artificial sense of dating and mating power dynamics. And by the time she hits 30, that's when she realized, oh shit, I fucked up. Now I'm behind the eight ball. Now I'm trying to get these men to take me in a state where literally you're not even supposed to be dating. I'm sorry, ladies. I'm going to say this tonight. This might be the first time I'm going to say it. You're technically not even supposed to be dating after age 30. Look that up. I'm going to say that again. You're technically not even supposed to be on the dating market after age 30. Boom. Because by that time, if you look back in the past, most women by age 30, they had at least 3 or 4 children. Those children were going to school. They had lives. They were busy. They had their husbands, and that was that. Now, if their husband died, some unfortunate reasons, or their husband had to get locked up in prison for some unfortunate reasons, that's unfortunate, but that was not the majority. The majority of women by age 30, definitely by age 30, all through their 30s and 40s, they wasn't on no dating market. If you was a woman 30 years old on the dating market, they called you a thornback. Look that up. That means something went wrong with you. Now, if you was a 30-year-old widow, that's unfortunate. 'Cause, back then, people died early, men and women. Women would die in birth or some bubonic plague or, medical advancements, wasn't really there. But if you was a 30-year-old woman and you never been married and you didn't have any children, people looked at you like you was crazy. Like, what's wrong with her? The 2 pills. So the power dynamic never changed. But there's another pill that did. And this one's going to be quick. The pill that did change the power dynamics was what? The blue pill. Absolutely. Viagra. That pill absolutely gave men all the power which they already had, but it legitimized it even more. It put a big, big fat gold stamp on who have the complete power in dating and mating in all aspects. The Viagra pill did that. Boom. How did it do that? See, prior to the Viagra pill, the dating and mating power dynamic, it was still tilted towards men. That is true. But it wasn't that far. Because nature has a way of doing what? Balancing things out. Mother Nature gives the gifts. Father Time takes them back. Go back and look at my videos. I break all that down. And Father Time is undefeated. And Mother Nature is a bitch. So Mother Nature gives women the gift of what? Carrying the child. And Mother Nature gives the gift to men of what? Delivering the seed. Well, in order to deliver the seed, what has to happen down below? That thing got to get stiff. It got to jump up. It got to get hard. Well, over time, nature sits in. Sometime it ain't coming up, if you know what I'm saying. And even the best of men is going to experience that at some point in his life. Sometimes it's unfortunate, like a car accident or a job accident. It happens. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Alright, y'all, I had to let one of my dogs outside. They started fighting, and I got one of them in here. So if you hear her, she's clinging on her food that I gave her. So it's a full moon, y'all. They get nuts around this time. So to keep them from jumping on me, I have to keep them pretty much entertained, if you know what I'm saying. Alright, so back to the natural process. So nature had a way of kind of lessening the power between men and women. Still wasn't equal, and today it's still not equal, but it wasn't that far apart. You see what I'm saying? So over time, the woman would do what? She would lose her ability to have children. What is that called? Menopause. Look it up. Menopause. Pause. Pause. Stop. No more babies. Done. Mother Nature gives it. Father Time takes it back. He's the repo man. And Mother Nature gives men what? It gives men that time to do what? To get it up. Naturally. Now, men can also do other things. There's been ginseng. There's been alcohol. And we know back in the days there was something called the cocoa leaf. All these things have an effect on men. And so the little blue pill did what? It gave men what? More time. Well, I shouldn't say more time, because you don't get more time, but it made the rest of his time, it extended out his ability. Instead of him losing his power, it now extended it out. You got 90-year-old men making babies now. It is what it is, called the Viagra generation. Some of you Gen Z are Viagra generation babies. Is it right? I just seen an article where a lady said, since they're basically, they're upset about the birth rate. And the lady says, since y'all want women to come off the birth control pill, y'all should come off the blue pill, Viagra. That's her understanding the power dynamics. It's not equal. Man still has the power. And so now, when you got two people who come together and they would quote unquote grow old gracefully, right? See, back in the days, they got it on, but eventually at some point, grandpa and grandma would kind of slow down in the bedroom, if you know what I'm saying. And they used to joke about it. Everybody would joke about it. That ain't happening now. Look up something called the Great Divorce. We have an epidemic of boomers getting divorced. That's been going on since the creation of Viagra. If you go back and look at it, when Viagra came on the scene, I think it was the mid-90s. It was made fun of. Oh, these men need Viagra. They can't get it up high, They all made fun of the men. And you needed a doctor's prescription to get it. But little by little, more men started coming out saying, you know what, ain't nothing wrong with it, man. Then you started seeing commercials. Remember Mike Dicker? Shout out to the late, great Mike Dicker. I think he's still around. If he not, RIP to him. If he's still around, no offense. I wish him well. I wish him more years on him. Then came Cialis. Now we got male enhancement videos. Oh, they're all over the place now. Now there's less side effects. The first ones that came out, they had some pretty nasty side effects, but men didn't give a shit. Oh well. So now you got two people who's supposed to be growing old together. One of them now got a new lease on life. And it's sad. I do think it's sad. He's looking at his 50-year-old wife. He's making good money. Starting to hit his best earning years. Absolutely. A man's best earning years is from age 40 until death. Look that up. I got an email from the Department of Labor. Shout out to the Department of Labor. I text them. The guy sent me all the data. Shout out to him. He sent me all the data. He said 40 to death. That's when a man start making the most money. 40 to death. So he's making the most money he's ever made. And by that time, if he had children, they should be grown. It's not ugly. It's not pretty. I mean, it's not pretty. It's ugly. I didn't say it was right. Absolutely. And that's not to say some women ain't getting it in. We know they divorcing too. They tried to make a female Viagra, which is complete foolishness. Female Viagra has always been a bottle of champagne and a man she's attracted to. Don't take much to open your legs. Something called KY jelly, if you know what I'm saying. But essentially, Viagra gave men a new lease on life. Now that I'm 50, 60, 70, I'm making all this money. I got all this power no matter where they are, their job or CEO or foreman, supervisor. I am the man. I got status. I got knowledge and wisdom. And now I got the pill that gives me back that 21-year-old man power, if you know what I'm saying, down below. Throw in some free weights, throw in some dieting, get a little bit of that Beijing, you know what I'm talking about? Some of that Just for Men. He's back on the scene. He's competitive. Absolutely, he's competitive. The two pills. And we know women have no problem dating older men. They never have, they never will. I'm in Southern California, y'all. I see men as old as 70, 80, 21-year-old models on their arm. And I ain't mad at them. All I do is tip my hat to them. See, out here in Southern California, that is the standard if you didn't know. If you ever hear a woman say, I lived in California and I left, right? The reason why she left is because she didn't get picked and she aged out. Most women age out in California around 27 years old, which is around the same time almost all women age out. But it comes harder out here. Out here, if you ain't got him by 25, 24, you pretty much cooked as a woman. Because there's always a new crop of women coming in. Guaranteed every year. Every year, really every month. Everybody wants to be the next supermodel. Everybody wants to be the next actress. You get it? And Hollywood is brutal to women in terms of age. It is what it is. Hollywood is very kind to men. You got men that's 60, 70, 80-year-old action stars. Shout out to them. Big props to them. And they pair them up with women who under 25. Every now and then you'll see them give a movie to somebody who's older that's okay for an older woman, but it's very rare. Most of your stars are going to be under 25 if it's a woman, and it's going to be over 30 if it's a man. I would even argue maybe over 40. That's my opinion. But you got some younger guys doing it. And as a man ages in Hollywood, his money goes up, his roles go up. He can play all kind of roles. He can be the action guy. He could be the wise guy. He could be the father guy. He could be the player guy. He could be the badass. And he could be the old man like Jack Nicholson them did. He can do it all. But there's only so many roles for women. And that's not to say they can't play those roles, but what? Hollywood is what? Meats in the seat. If you don't put the meats in the seat, we're not putting you on screen. Got to make money. And men in Hollywood are cash cows. Young women are cash cows in Hollywood. Old women are not. Now we got feel-good stories and documentaries and feel-good, women movies, but that don't make money for Hollywood. That don't put meat to the seat, as they say. That don't keep the bills on. The two pills. So that blue pill gave men a new lease on life. It made the power dynamics absolute. They kind of never got equal, but they kind of got closer before that pill because he wouldn't be so frisky anymore. And the woman could be like, well, I've lost the ability to have kids. He only gets it up every now and then. We can kind of grow old gracefully together. I don't have to be concerned with him running off with another young woman. That's what it was. That ain't what it is now. The two pills. And there's a lot of women now complaining, saying the Viagra pill has been devastating to women as a whole. They say the Viagra pill is taking away intimacy. You now got men as young as 18 years old and younger taking Viagra. You know why they doing that? It's not because they physically can't get it up. We know that's simply not the case. Why are the men doing it? Because they're getting over performance anxiety. The young men now know they got one shot with that 18 to 24-year-old to blow her back out. And if they don't do it, that girl is going to run her mouth and tell everybody he ain't shit in the bedroom. So to get over that performance anxiety and to do it without being on illegal drugs, he takes a blue pill, blows her back out, gets over that hump the first time. Now he's a little easier with it. He don't need it after that. Now he got her hooked. He can go to the next girl, hook, line, and sinker, repeat, do it all over again. Look that one up. Doctor saying, why are these men taking the blue pill at age 21? 19, for God's sakes. Because they getting over performance anxiety. They trying to fuck like porn stars. Because men and women been seeing porn since they came out the womb, since the sexual revolution. And the women watching that saying, I want to be fucked like that. And the men are watching that saying, I gotta fuck like that. That's so I don't get a bad reputation. Intimacy has completely been removed from the entire process. That's why the girls are saying, why I can't keep him around. Why he won't love me. Because you want to be fucked like a porn star. That's why he's doing it. And both sides is equal of this. So I'm not blaming this on women. Women want to do the porn. Men want to watch the porn. It is what it is. Equal blame is on both sides. And don't tell me that you don't call a man ain't shit if his dick don't work because he got performance anxiety. That's exactly what y'all doing. I've talked to doctors about this. And I've asked doctors the same question. Why is this happening to 18-year-old men? And he said because the women been watching porn and they want to get fucked like a porn star. And we know that y'all run y'all mouth. That cannot be denied. Girl, he ain't shit in bed. Girl, his dick didn't work in bed. Girl, he couldn't get it up. I need a man who can get it up. Isn't that what the girl said? What? Isn't that what Sexy Red said? Isn't that what, quote unquote, Megan the male horse said? So intimacy is the last thing on the list, if at all. And the blue pill allows that man to achieve that without any intimacy. Quote unquote, he ain't even got to be attracted to you to get it up anymore. Boom! Ain't nobody gonna tell you this. I had to let my dog out. But it's true. I've slept with over 304 women. You really think I had intimate feelings for all those women? You really think I was attracted to all those women? Newsflash, ladies, men fake orgasms too. But I learned at an early age that if you do one woman right, you can get 10 others. Consensual. See, that's the crap that I hate about right now. When I tell people that women have no problem sharing men, they want to crucify me. When I tell people women will go find the men who is known to have good dick, they talk about it, people want to crucify me. But we know it's true. So you can't knock these men for taking the blue pill to blow your back out, and after they done, they have no link towards you. Absolutely none. They might not even be attracted to you. Because it's just a matter of getting blood to a certain part of the organ. That's the difference between men and women, ladies and gentlemen. Women have to have some kind of mental, as they say, they got to overcome some kind of mental hill. It may not be a big hill, but they got to overcome that hill to want to have sex with that man. Even prostitutes have to do that. A prostitute will tell a trick, I'm not sleeping with you. You're disgusting. A prostitute will do that. Her mind is telling her, I don't want that man. Her body's going to respond to that. Her vagina is going to be dry. And that ain't good. We know that's not good for women to have sex on a dry vagina. That's why a lot of prostitutes have to keep what? KY in a purse. They overcome that small mental block, but the body still ain't there. Hey, put some KY down there. Do what you got to do. Men don't work like that. A man can be sitting at his desk. Do you know how many times I was in math class and I would get erections? I would get erections in math class when I was in middle school, and I got caught a few times. I'm dead serious. I had girls sitting next to me saying, God damn, they would look at my dick, and yeah, I'm rather large down below. And they'd be like, they thought I was getting erections for them. I didn't have a care in the world for them girls at that time. I was relaxed. I was in a state of amusement. My mind was being mentally and academically stimulated. I love mathematics. And I would see the teacher, her name was Miss Pound, and Miss Lee. Miss Lee had a big old ass, okay? You know, and she had a big ass teaching us mathematics. And I would be looking at the teacher's ass and looking at mathematics. That was my dream as a little boy, you know? That and basketball and, you know, all the other sports. I'm sitting there watching it, and my dick getting hard as hell. And sometimes I used to have to cover it up because, you know, I'm rather large down below. And one time she called me to the front of the class. And I know she did it on purpose. Shout out to my teachers. And it wasn't no PDF stuff. It wasn't none of that. But she called me to the front of the class, and you know, it is what it is. I went up there, and boy, I was the talk of the school for like a month, you know. Alpha got a big dick. Alpha was erect, you know. I couldn't get out of that, but you know, it was advertisement. I tell you that story to tell you that, ladies, it's just a biological reaction. If we are in a relaxed state, and we are amused, we will tend to get erections just to get them. That's why you will sleep next to a man and you'll feel what? An erection when he's sleeping. So an erection, lady, is not always because he's attracted to you. I know that hurts for women to hear this, but the women who know, they know this. They know he's telling absolutely the truth. An erection is just a physical thing. It just comes up and goes away. So when you throw Viagra in the mix, that man could be thinking about the nuclear codes of the world, and his dick will get hard, and that'll be that. He has no attraction to the woman that's standing in front of him. Absolutely none. But he can insert that penis inside of her and have sex. This is what the blue pill did for man. It has made us completely disconnected from you intimately in terms of sex. There is no intimate relationship now. And it was that intimacy link that women use to do what? To secure the relationship. This is deep. The birth control pill did none of that stuff for you. The blue pill gave man complete control over his penis. Absolute control. Now he can have an erection and have no intimacy link, not even be attracted to the woman, and the blood would get down there and he could do what he got to do to maintain power in the relationship. Dick got power too, ladies. Dick got power too. He put that dick on you one good time, you spread the word, he know he got his greatest promoter to get another woman. And we are hardwired to do what? Spread the seed. You have completely lost in terms of power dynamics when the blue pill was created. That is a fact. And the birth control pill caused you to lose all your power in the relationship. That is a fact. So when we talk about the two pills and which one had the greatest effect on our current dating and mating system, it's without a doubt the blue pill. There's no doubts about it. I would say the birth control pill was prior to the blue pill creation. Once the blue pill got created, that was it, baby. It was sealed, no doubts about it. Men have all the power in dating and mating right now. There's no doubts about it. That's why men ain't rushing. Rushing for what? He's not going to lose that dick power anymore. He got that until he died. You got men being buried with erections, okay? So I wanted to come to y'all tonight to let you know about the two pills and which one really changed the dynamics in dating and mating. It was not the birth control pill, it was the Viagra pill. The Viagra pill gave men full control over all power dynamics in dating and mating. It cannot be denied. He now can have sex with you and have completely no physical attraction towards you and absolutely have no intimate attraction towards you whatsoever. Essentially, he is a male phallus, a real life dildo going inside of you, only to maintain power and domination in dating and mating dynamics. That's why women keep saying, "Where are all the good men?" If you want those dynamics to change, if you want those dynamics to be, quote unquote, bridge the gap, then there's only one solution. That solution is regulation. Regulation of human being dating and mating sexual behavior at the beginning. And unfortunately, none of y'all don't want to do that. So I say, enjoy the sexual revolution. Because ain't nothing going to change. Alright, y'all. That's been a broadcast for the night. It's a deep one. A long one. But it's much needed. The two pills. Birth control pill versus the blue pill. The big pill. The man pill. The man pill won out. Can't be denied. Shout out to everybody out there. Shout out to the overnight. Shout out to the overtime. And to everybody else. Peace!